Hey everybody, how's it going tonight? Had to start a little bit early this evening because turns out I got some stuff going on. So I wanted to get right into it with you. I'm going to share my screen here. Um, so I'm working on. No, that's not working, is it? That's going crazy. Hang on, sorry. Okay. There we go. All right, let's try this one more time. There we go. Okay. That's what I wanted. Okay, cool. It's almost like I've never done this before, even though that's not true. So I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I had to join a little bit early tonight. I scheduled it for 8, but unfortunately, I got some stuff going on this evening. So I wanted to show you a little bit about what I'm working on. Just as a heads up here. So the overall point of what this is this is look development for a tutorial that I'm building. Okay, so I'm building a forest based on um, my time in Tennessee a couple weeks ago in the Smoky Mountains National Forest, and it was beautiful. And I've got lots of great uh, reference that I did from that. Okay, so that's all said. Now, the thing that I want to show you first of all is some of the assets that I'm going to be using for this one. And I want to get that started right off the bat here. So I'm going to go open this up here. I'm using this foliage version 8 dead trees. Okay, so there's this, and this is actually fantastic. One of the things that you really find a lot in a forest is dead stuff, tons of dead stuff. So I find this one to be super useful, and you should, if you want to use it, it's not very expensive. I also have this one, the High Poly Tree Pack 4. Um, this is actually really nice. It works with 5.4, and I'm really happy with it. It comes based in fall, like autumn colors and whatnot. But I'm going to show you a little bit tonight how you can change the color of the leaves if you don't want them to be red and yellow and whatnot. So that's a good one. I also have this leaf pack, which I use these leaves. You can use them as stamps and whatnot, and put them down. Dead leaves or fallen leaves are everywhere, so that's an important one. Um, I'm also using this spruce trees. I think this was like $30 or something like that. But it's really good actually. I've used it for another project. I'm really satisfied with it. So um, you know, I am a big believer in, if you're going to buy some stuff, that to go ahead and do that, because it's a little bit easier. Time is money, right? So sometimes $30 can save you 1,000. So something to think about. That's what I'm using for this. Let me just see if there's anything else in here that I'm using for this one. Yeah, I think that's it. Obviously, I'm using Quixel Bridge, but that comes with Unreal. I also want to show you guys a little bit how this is working now. Basically, it looks like this. Okay, so this is my reference. Okay, and it's just a little waterfall back in the hills there, and it's nice and pretty, and you can just kind of see it's nice, like hard granite rock, little creek running down, and then this down here it kind of flows into a. Actually, this is a little bit farther down here. There's a few little streams that run into this kind of pool area here. Now, what I like about this is that there are tons of assets that we can get out of Quixel that'll really, really kind of supplement a lot of this stuff. And so that's nice. I'm going to get into those here in a second. I'm also going to show you. Here we go. This is what it looks like running. Now I had to crop it a little bit. YouTube gets a little wiggy about having kids and stuff. There are a couple of kids right at the bottom there, so I cropped them out. And this is what it looks like running. So it's just nice and really, really simple. But this is great reference for when we get into dealing with Niagara and whatnot. So sorry, you get to see some other stuff there. But so that's what it looks like. And so great reference that I had. I had some other reference that somehow didn't make it. So that was kind of annoying. So that's my basis here for what I'm doing today. And so just dock this thing again here. Okay, so you can kind of see that this is what I'm working on. Now, obviously, I still have the checkerboard. Now, what I did was I created a landscape in landscape mode. If you know how to do that, one of the things I'm going to suggest to you is this, that you should consider going to our website. Here we go. If you go to our website, which is tolearn.dmi.edu, we've got a great Unreal Engine membership. It's like $199, but we can get you a discount if you ask. And this is like a 5-day course dealing with Unreal. It's really good stuff, and it will go through how you deal with landscape and things of that nature. So I highly encourage you to check that out. That's at tolearn.dmi.edu. And so check that one out. Go over there, do that. All right. Now, all of that said, I want to show you a little bit about how I started this. Now, I have the landscape. I'm going to go back in landscape mode here. Okay. And so basically, let's just put it into sculpt mode here. Okay. And essentially what I did was I just kind of went in here and I sculpted the general shape of what I wanted here. So if I go back to my reference here, which is this, right? I just went in and just kind of started to sculpt a little bit of the shape. And then I went into Quixel Bridge, and I'm going to show you here in a second some of the assets that I pulled down. And I used the shaping that I had done in landscape to just start to almost like, stuccoing brick into place. I started to take those assets and bring them into an area that worked, right? So now I'm going to show you the ones that I've got that I'm using here. I got a Quixel Bridge. This is my desert outback ground, just my gravel ground, which I'm going to throw that on my ground layer here in a second, which I've already downloaded. But I'm also going to show you it's Icelandic boulders. I'll start with Icelandic cliffs, right? Okay. And there's some really nice ones that are huge. Like if you look at the size here, you can see that that it's really, this is supposed to be a person, this little pixel right next to this big cube. And so I'm using that. Let me show you what else I've got here. Okay, get that out of the way. Let's see, volcanic dolerite. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word I actually want. So we'll put that in here. Come on. Okay, so dolerite is the word you really, or volcanic dolerite. Okay, and so these are the ones that I took. There's a whole bunch of them here. There's like this cliff here. that I really like. This cliff here, I believe, has ended up being essentially this shape right in through here. And then um, there are other ones that are just volcanic rocks, things of that nature, right? That I'm putting in here. Now, this one is also, I think, when they say cliff, I want to show you what I mean here. Okay, so I'm gonna this is kind of important. So I'm gonna go back to selection mode here real quick. So I'm gonna grab this guy and I'm gonna zoom in on it here. Now check this out. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it out of the way. Now you can see what it is because it's a cliff. They literally are only able to scan the one side. They couldn't obviously tunnel under the rock to do that side. So you've only got the one side, and I'm gonna Control Z that so it goes back into place. And I've got a couple of other ones in here. I think this one also is like that. Um, yeah, it is. So you can see it's only one side. It's on the back like that. But really like the way it works. Now, all that said, here, right? A lot of the rest of this stuff are just boulders, um, and I highly recommend just going ahead, grab all of the Dolorite ones, and download them and import them into in nanite mode. You want nanite because you want to get the if you're going to get close in the camera and you really want it to look real, you want to go for that highest resolution there. So I probably have a couple more. Looks like I do that I haven't downloaded, and so I might as well go ahead. They do take a second, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. Let's see here. And I'm going to go ahead and add that in when it's done. All right, I'll just drag that in. I got a couple more. It doesn't, I don't need them all because I've already got tons of. But you'll see why these rocks actually are going to be useful here in a second. And I'm gonna, yeah, that one's nice. And so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. And all right, so I'm gonna add that here real quick. All right. So this is all super useful. I'm gonna go ahead and close bridge here because I don't need it. Okay. Now, anytime you download that stuff, you're gonna find it in three under mega scans. Okay, and it's either going to be in 3D assets, going to be or plants if you've downloaded plants and that sort of thing. They'll be in mega scans. We've also got surfaces in here. And I've got this desert outback ground dirt that I like. And the thing that's important to look at, I'm gonna go back to my reference here real quick, right? If you look at the ground, this is probably the best view of ground we've got, which is kind of cool. It's got this nice root structure up here and stuff like that. But it's really nebulous. It's kind of just brown, and it sits there as a as a base for things, and that's really what I need, right? I don't need something crazy. It needs some rocks. It needs a little bit of brown color to it, but that's all I'm really looking for at the moment, right? So so I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm just going to drag and drop it onto my landscape here. And theoretically, that's going to work. Let's try that again. Let's see if we can do this a little bit differently. Okay. I'm going to slide this off to the edge. Now, yeah, okay. Well, it seems to have taken it. That's weird. Okay, let's try this one more time. So I'm going to drag and drop it right here. There we go. Okay, so now it's taking it. Now, I don't love the tiling that you see. Okay. No, that said, I do think that the scale of the rocks is about right. Now, I'm gonna do something here. So I'm gonna double click on that, and I'm gonna dive in here. So um, this is what it would look like if it came in. I remember now that I preset this. Okay, so this is what it looks like if it comes in like that. Okay, so it comes in and it has this weird look to it, right? And that might be appropriate for scale. Like if you really got down to it, like this is what those pebbles should probably look like. But for me, that's probably a little bit ridiculous. So um, I just set it to point 0.1, and that's okay. I'm not. We're not going to see the tiling from where we are. And again, like I said, it's just serving a function, which is just to provide kind of cover for it. Now, the other thing that I want to do to it, it's a little bit like desert red here. I'm going to reset the tint. I actually had gone through this previously. Okay. Well, that doesn't work. Hang on. Okay. This is what it actually is supposed to look like. It's kind of like that. And it doesn't really match, does it? So basically what I'm doing is just going into the albedo here, and I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna just grab um, the eyedropper here. Yeah, that'll work. And that's a little bit more dirt like, which I'm good with, right? And I'm going to close that up. So that's working. Now the thing that I need to do here is I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to go back into sculpting mode here in landscape, and I need to add a little bit of extra on the back side here. So I'm just going to sculpt this up, and I'm going to increase the strength here, and I'm going to actually increase the brush size just a little bit, because I need a little bit more for. Well, that's too much, and that's all right. There we go. I'm just trying to get a little bit more. Oops. A little bit more here. Because as we go a little bit farther back here, I'll show you here in just 1 second. All right. And now I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit. All right. Now I'm doing that simply because it kind of looks a little bit like that. It just kind of goes up a little bit more, and the trees kind of sit on it. I could probably put a little bit more in there. Come on. There we go. I'm just trying to give the trees a place to hang out. Something in this vein, right? So I'm just kind of going, and I'm just adding a little bit to it, and that's fine. That's probably too much, and then I'm gonna smooth it off. One thing that I like actually a little bit, which works really well, is erosion. And so I'm just gonna erode this a little bit, kind of smooth it all down. Um, it does need just a touch more um, down here. Dang, that was way too strong. Jeez. There we go. And I needed just that's going to work fine. I think I like that. Now, one of the things I want to show you here too is that earlier I did this is just going to be kind of my stream bed here, right? So you can kind of see it's been cut out a little bit, and I'm going to put rocks and whatnot down in there, and that works pretty well. Um, yeah, so that's working. Now, like I said, I'm trying to essentially mimic this area, which is this. I could use a little bit more sculpting in here. Just a touch more like that. Yeah, that works. And I'll just use just a touch of erosion in here. That's fine. Yeah, that'll work. Sorry, guys, I'm going a little bit crazy here. But yeah, okay, so I'm liking that. Now, I'm going to go into selection mode here. So I'm going to grab this tree here, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and that's going to duplicate it for me. And I want it up a little bit higher. Now, there is quite frankly a need for a lot of trees up in here to get this working, and now one of the things that's kind of important when you deal with trees is there's a couple of different elements in here, and there's the leaf here. Now, I told you at the beginning of this, you can change how the leaves work, and so I'm just going to double click on it, and it's in here, right? So now I've got the texture set up, and I'm just double clicking on the texture. Okay. And that works fine. The thing that I want to do, because it's red right now, obviously, what I'm looking for here is I'm just going to go down into like the hue. That was actually way too much. There we go. So I changed the hue a little bit. That's really all I needed, and that's going to make it green, right? And so you can get away with it with a really really simple adjustment, and then you could change brightness if you want. That makes it almost a little bit too luminous, but yeah, see that's probably too dark, but yeah, that'll work right in that range. Okay, and so I'm gonna save it, and now hold on. My leaves are green. Okay. So that's actually a really useful little tip there. And I find that to be a helpful one. Now, another thing that we want to really look at that's really kind of important here is adding dead stuff. And like I told you, dead things are they're huge in terms of the way things look in the forest. Hold on, I'm looking for the correct one. Yeah, okay, here we go. Dead trees. All right, so just going to go into the meshes here, and then so it just comes with a set of them. I've actually already got one in here, but I'm going to go ahead and grab another one and just throw it out in there. Okay, so and this will take a second. Something like that, right? And dead stuff really does help a little bit to just kind of fill in some spaces and things like that. Now I'm going to show you guys something cool with it. I'm going to go back into this is the foliage editor. Okay. Now, for the moment, a lot of what's in here is kind of stuff that we dealt with in the previous one, which was grasses and things of that nature, right? That's all fine. But one of the things that's actually really cool is that you can add, for example, you can add anything, any static mesh you want into the foliage editor, which I find to be actually super cool. All right. So, for example, I'm just going to take this one. This is a dead tree, and I'm going to drag it right in here. Okay. And so now here it sits just like all the other foliage is. All right. And I just want to make sure that, okay, so this guy's on. I'm going to turn that off. And so I just want this guy checked. That's the only one that I care about. Okay. And so what's kind of cool now, right, is that I'm going to take this one tree and I'm going to use the foliage brush and now, okay, well that's ridiculous, right? So I've just paint brushed in here a ridiculous amount of trees. Now that's obviously not going to work. So the thing that you need to do in here is you're going to have to go to the density. And so the density here is one that I'm going to set it to 1 for the moment. Okay. Now that helps actually. So I'm just going to paint in a couple of trees. Okay. And that's good. Now, like they're just kind of dropped in. Now, here's the thing. What you can actually do here, which is kind of cool, is I'm going to leave the Z offset alone, but you can change the scale. So the scaling kind of defaults to uniform here, which is fine, except for the fact that I don't want it to be that. I'm going to make it free. Okay. And so you can kind of determine like how much scale you want, X and Y and Z. X is deep and this Y is wide and Z is up and down in Unreal. I'm kind of an old Lightwave / Maya person, so for me, it's a little bit backwards. But you can tell it, you can make it a lot smaller. And let's say we'll just go 0.2 to 1.7, just for the sake of doing it. And we're going to do it on all axes here, right? And this just gives it like randomness to deal with, right? So 0.2, 1.7, right? And now when I start putting this in here, the trees now are at completely different sizes. Now I'm going to thicken this up a little bit so you can see it. All right. So I'm going to multiply it by 5. Okay. And so now I'm going to paint these in, right? So here they are, dead trees and all, right? But they're at different sizes, they're at different rotational values, so they don't end up looking like the exact same freaking tree, which is what you want to make sure that you're not doing here. So that's huge. Now I'm just going to control Z my way back to all this stuff because I don't really want them all in here for the moment. But that is a really cool thing here, just so you can understand. You can use literally any static mesh in the foliage editor here, and so you can see that I've got it right here. Now I'm going to turn this off. Okay. Now this is actually where it gets fun because one of the things that you can deal with in Unreal is this whole aspect of I got to put a bunch of rocks in here, and now like look, tell me how much this is going to suck. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go in selection mode, and I'm going to go in here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to select my rock, hold down Alt, and I'm going to move it out, and I'm going to rotate this thing around. Okay, that's going to ever. Okay, now let's go back into foliage mode here. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the rocks I was showing you earlier, and I do see. Thank you. I was going to be getting kind of lonely here, so I appreciate you showing up. Here's the thing. I'm going to go into my 3D assets here, and these are the rocks that I was talking about. So these, we'll take this guy for example. Now, actually not that guy because that's a cliff. How about this one? No, that's also a cliff. Sorry. Yeah, perfect. This is just a standard rock. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to drag and drop it directly into the foliage editor here now. Okay, so there it is, just like we want it. Now I'm going to select it. Oh, there, it's on. Okay, so that's the one. Now immediately, what happens is now I've just thrown in 1,000 rocks, which is not what I want. So what you got to do is you got to go in here and you got to dial in the density. We'll go back to kind of like 1 as my density for the moment. But here's the thing. Okay, so again, I'm going to take uniform off, and I'm just going to make it free. And again, I'm going to kind of do the same thing that I did previously. I'm going to just go 0.2 to 1.7 here, and I'm just going to hammer through real quick here. So 0.2 to 1.7. Okay, all the way XYZ. Okay. If I could type, that would be great. Okay, so we got that. Random pitch angle, we'll give it a little bit of something, and all that should be fine. Okay, so cool. So I'm going to go back into paint mode here, and now with it set the way I've got it set, now I can just start putting in rocks. Okay, now that's probably not enough, but what it's giving me here, and you guys can see this as I zoom in, it's giving me rocks that are on the geometry where I want them to be here. But at the same time, they're at rotated, like random angles and things like that. So now none of that duplication and all that nonsense that doesn't matter anymore. Okay, and so I actually really dig that. Now, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna change the density here. So let's make it, I don't know, let's make it 3. Okay. And now this is what I'm kind of shooting for. Okay. I'm going to go back to my, where to go? Yeah. So I'm going to go back to here. And actually, if you look at this one here, you can see there's tons of rocks in this water. Now I'm not going to go through putting through that many, but like you can kind of see really easily how many rocks we're really dealing with here. And here's a really good one. Actually, this is probably the best one. They're just kind of littered throughout the path of the water here, right? So what I'm going to shoot for is this. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to look back this direction. And I kind of, got this stupid tree in the way. But you can see what I did here is I cut the path here. So I'm going to just do my paint work here. So I'm just going to kind of paint in some rocks. Yeah, that's better. And this is going to work in nicely as a as a placement for rocks. And so now what you're getting really quickly is kind of like a little bit of a boulder field, which which will work. And they're random. Now I can, what I should do if I'm being honest here is I should just go back and find a couple more. These all say cliff on them, so I'm not really sure. I don't want that one. That might be another one. Yeah, it is. So I got another one here. So I'm going to turn this one off and I'll throw this guy in. And I'm going to have to kind of, the density seems to be right here. Hold on. Stop it. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna make it the density 3. And unfortunately, I would have to reset all this stuff. But now I've got different boulders in here that I can put in there. And those are starting to work, right? So I'll add a few of them up in here just to start to break this up a little bit because you got to have this randomness in here. I don't love this, quite frankly. It's okay, but they're kind of floating, some of them. So I'm going to go in and lasso a few of them out of there, and that's okay, and just break them up a little bit. So you have to, sometimes you got to get in there and like really, really dig. But it's, some of them aren't perfect, but it's good. Like, so that's a good thing. Here's another one. I had previously, I had gone in here. I've got this is twigs, right? And so, like, for example, same deal. Come on. Oh, hold on. Paint. There we go. Got to turn those rocks off. So now it's just this one. And so there we go. I'm going to make this one more like 1 so you can kind of see what it's doing. And so what it's doing here now is it's giving me twigs and things like that, which are actually going to be really important. And so, that's all random stuff that you find, but this starts to bring it in so much easier, man. I've got so many rocks that are like just floating. I'm going to delete a couple here. There we go. So yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, right? Now this is just me trying to spend a little bit of time doing some of this. Now here's the thing, I can do the same with trees. Okay, and I showed you that before with some dead stuff, but I've got tons of trees in here. So like I'm gonna go back into my spruce trees here. I think it's this one. Now these are just standard trees. I actually like this one. I'm going to just toss this one in here. Now, here's the thing. This might take a second, so I don't have any idea if this is going to work or not. So I'm going to drag and drop this guy over in here. And okay, that actually worked faster than I thought. So now if I want to start to populate this forest, I can actually, hold on, let me at least, yeah, I think my density is correct. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Wow. Hold on. Jeez. Yes, we've had a bit of a tree explosion. Okay. Yeah, too much. Okay. Let's try. Let's try that one again. Okay, yeah, okay. So we're gonna make it point one and see what that does. Okay, dude, what is up? Okay, let's make it 10. Let's see if um wow. Yeah, that didn't pan out the way the way I hoped it was going to. Um yeah, I don't know what the issue is here. That is weird. I would think that it would give me hold on. No, that's not it. It should be like point zero 0.01 maybe. Let's try that out. No, that just doesn't. Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry. A bit of an idiot move there. Uh, I had the wrong one selected. So let's try this again. We'll get this down to 1. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. Ta-da. So that's a little bit better. And so what I wanted to do is be able to just start putting trees up in certain spots up in here and really start to make this thing feel a little bit um, more forested. Now that's nice and everything, and as we start to get up in here and look, that's not bad. I'm gonna move the light around a little bit. That's really hard to see. Yeah. But not bad actually. So we're starting to see some rocks and some things that seem to make a little bit more sense, which I like actually. And so now at the same time, I'm going to go back real quick and I'm going to do the exact same thing with I've got some pine trees here. Now this may get a little bit nuts because they are a little bit more. I'll show you here real quick. These trees are a little bit. Here's my spruce back. Okay, so um, here's my nanite trees, and this is where it gets a little funky. I'm just gonna take this one here. It's kind of a thin tree, and I'm gonna put it up here. Now, unfortunately, this is gonna take a second. It's gonna. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Not so bad. Um, I'm gonna drop another one in here, like right like that. And you can see it's dealing with it. So okay, so we'll drop that in there. So now we're starting to get a nice little variety of trees in there, and I'm going to do the exact same thing here that I did. Um, I'm going to drop this guy in here. Okay, so now that's the kind of the cool thing here. Really quick is. I think that's it. This is the one. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to turn this one off. And now you can really quickly, I'm going to pull out here so you guys can see this a little bit better, right? You can really quickly start to build a very diverse. I don't love this. There's a bit of a setting in the foliage editor to do with exactly how much angle you're going to get in terms of the tree. Now the thing is that's interesting, and on some part of that that's real is that things. Let me show you in my in here. So check this out. All right, when you look at a forest, everything is going at every possible angle here. Right? There's very few trees that are actually growing straight up. You got stuff this is bent. This one's fallen over. This one's hanging this way. So there's just this randomness that's going on, and that's one of those things that like you've got to account for that. Now, the trees themselves are bent maybe because of the wind or a storm or something like that. The thing that I find a little bit unreal here, unreal, right, is that they're kind of bending off to a different angle. But it's okay. It's like it's working to a degree, and it's starting to feel a little bit more like my initial reference, which is this one here. Okay. And that's working. I need to get some more shrubs in here, but that's just, me going through and taking some of these trees and making them a little bit smaller. Okay. Now, what I liked with this spruce tree, okay, you can, and it's this guy right here. Okay. So I've got it selected. Come on. Let's go back to a normal here, and I'm going to just go into paint mode. Well, okay. Now what I've gotten, I actually had this guy selected too, but what you're kind of getting is like this interesting mix of trees, right? Some of them are spruce, some of them are these other ones, and that is totally normal for a forest, right? Like when you're doing forest work, and particularly in the which is where I was, right? It was a mix of spruce, it was oak, it was sycamore, it was like all sorts of, and they were all growing together. They were all competing for stuff. So this was kind of a bit of a happy accident to have them both going off at the same time. But really quickly, you can start to add in like this crazy sort of blend of trees that are at different sizes and things like that. Now, I really, if I'm going to be honest, I think I should add a little bit of. I think this is the dead one also. It's not bad. This is a good start. Okay. And you guys, and like I said at the beginning, and if you didn't see it at the beginning, I highly encourage you to go back and watch it. One of the things that I showed at the very beginning of this is a number of things. I showed you where I got my assets. I showed you what they were, and I also showed you like if working in Unreal is new for you, we've got the school that I teach at, tolearn.dmi.edu. We've got this great like 5-day Unreal class. That's a great starter class. So you should totally check that out. So for me, this is kind of what I was hoping to get to tonight, and just to kind of show off. This is how we start setting the scene for this. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start going in and I'm going to start putting grasses in. I'm also going to start putting in water because I do intend to make this a flowing stream. And because this right here, when I was talking look dev right here, this one here, come on, this is what I was shooting for. Okay. I'm actually shooting for a nice flowing river with these kind of this boulder field in here and this kind of craziness of trees. So that's where we're going next. I'm going to be going live. It'll be next Monday, Monday night, and so I'll put it up, and you guys can check that out if you want to join me. That'd be awesome. This also records and it'll post to my YouTube channel. So, you guys, thank you for joining me tonight. I totally appreciate it. It's been really nice having you guys along. There's more to come, and there's going to be a great tutorial that comes out of this whole thing. So anyway, I will talk to you all later. All right, have a good night. He said as he tried to kill the live stream. There we go. All right. See you guys later.